This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Anticipation, you have to patience. Hopefully we'll see this through. Sparks at night, thunder, roll another number. The guys are looking out for you. Everybody's got something to say. Everybody's got something to say. Communication, lost in translation. The joker brought his hands to you. Creeping in your back door, knocking on your window. Hopefully my love shines through.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, so true. So true. It does not matter who the host is. What matters is who the listeners are. That has always been the name of the game here. Anyways, today is Tuesday, February the 28th of 2023, day 59th of the year, and only 306 days remaining. So how have you been? How are things going? Yes, if you are hanging out already and taking a look around and going, hold on, there's video, but there's no video of you. Yes, that is the accurate information. Still going on for another day, still having my coughing fits. What's the point on that? So yesterday, I think we were at the 13 time mark that I had to mute the microphone in regards of when I was talking because I was coughing so much. I don't think it's going to be as bad today, but we'll see how that ends up going. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio USA, Canada, UK.
So there you go. A lot of things going on this morning of the things that happened and come around and all that. So if you want to interact with the show, it's easy to do. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That'll get you moving and grooving inside of hanging out and doing some things. There is no doubt about that because that's kind of how we set up the stuff. That way we can hang out and do the norms, do the things that we do, opposed to it being the weirdo version. Yes, the weirdo version. Anyways, if you're not familiar with our show, it's kind of an easy way on how we do things. We talk about safety in the news and safety. I don't think I can simplify it any more than that because that's how it normally goes about. So let's talk real quick about what was trending in the overnight because I think the trends is something that we have to talk about. If not, what are we really going to talk about here?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so talking about the stuff that was trending in the overnight, a new study shows its simple way to beat depression, and NASA reschedules its ISS crew. The Supremes takes on the student loan debt forgiveness, and Ron DeSantis' books drops today. We're also going to talk a little bit about Tom Brady on how he wants to try some stand-up, and Steven Seagal receives the Order of Friendship from Vladimir Putin. And Zendaya gets a bay bump, and Arnold Schwarzenegger returns to acting. We'll talk about a little bit about all of that stuff So if you want to interact with the show, it's easy to do. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. They'll get everything moving and grooving your general direction in regards of how to interact. You can text, you can talk, you can do the video messaging, which I don't know if that will do you any good today. I guess I will get to see your video message. Or maybe I could even play it across. I mean, who knows? All kinds of things that we can do here, there, and everywhere. Just kind of the way that it hangs out, moves, and grooves forward inside of the world of the equation. So there you go. I guess if you're not familiar with the show, when we do bring in the professional broadcasters, I just don't say much because there's not much for me to say because I'm not the pro and somebody else is coming into doing the pro stuff. So that's why I sit back, relax, and go, okay, that's what the pros are doing, and I'm just here doing my own stuff. It's kind of the way that it goes. So we'll bring in some level of main story for you so you don't have to worry about that because what are we going to do without a main story? And that's pretty much it. That sums up everything. Everything I hope will be back to norm at some point. Because listen, I'm not used to this, and the next week's another week that I can already tell you is going to be kind of a strange one because I will be broadcasting from Santa Fe. I'm planning on broadcasting from Santa Fe. We'll see what happens there from that particular aspect. Anyways, with that being said, let's get us started with what's going on inside of the world of the news because I think that these things are always important to talk about.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Former health officials criticized for claiming COVID likely came from a lab leak or likely feeling vindicated. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell.
The Department of Energy, whose experts oversee national labs, has changed its assessment based on new intelligence, now saying it is likely the deadly virus stemmed from an accidental laboratory leak in China.
Dr. Robert Redfield, the CDC director in the Trump administration, faced widespread criticism in the media for suspecting a lab leak as far back as 2021. He said it was a shame top scientists reached faulty conclusions about the origins of COVID. For years, U.S. government agencies have been divided over whether the health emergency began in China as a result of a lab leak or whether it emerged naturally. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told CNN Sunday there was no definitive answer on the origins of COVID. The Supreme Court will hear arguments today on President Biden's plan to forgive an estimated $400 billion in student loan debt. Senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett.
That relief, but they are now in legal limbo as a group of Republican-led states have led a challenge against that policy. Now the Supreme Court gets a chance to weigh in.
The program would cancel $10,000 in student loan debt for those earning less than $125,000 per year and up to $20,000 for those who receive Pell Grants. Those challenging the plan in court, including several Republican-led states, argue the move is an abuse of executive authority. An American citizen is dead, killed in the West Bank amid violence between Palestinians and Israelis.
These actions are completely unacceptable. The United States extends its deepest condolences to those affected by this violence.
That State Department spokesman Ned Price. Had happened near Jericho Monday when a Palestinian gunman opened fire. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been calling for calm while hundreds of soldiers have been deployed to the area. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host
Of the Rated R Safety Show.
self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
From Feature Story News in Hong Kong, I'm Richard Kimber. Hong Kong is scrapping its rules for the compulsory wearing of face masks. The move brings to an end the last of the city's long-standing COVID-19 restrictions, which have severely dented its appeal as a business and tourism hub. US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has made a surprise visit to Ukraine to reaffirm America's financial support for the country. And North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un is ordering an overhaul of the country's agricultural sector amid fears of worsening food shortages.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
The Biden administration is emphasizing the importance of Black history in America.
History matters. History matters, and Black history matters. Look, I can't just choose to learn what we want to know. We learn what we should know. We have to learn everything, the good, the bad, the truth, and who we are as a nation.
President Biden held a Black History Month reception at the White House on Monday. He was joined by Vice President Kamala Harris, the first black woman to serve as vice president. As former President Jimmy Carter remains under hospice care in Georgia, his niece says he had a good day on Sunday. More from Liz Kennedy.
Carter's niece, Leanne Smith, said her uncle is talking and eating, even asked her to bring him soup. She told Fox 5 News that he still has some time in him and spoke about her uncle during Sunday school at Maranatha Baptist Church in Plains.
Right now, we honor Uncle Jimmy, and we know that he knows that every single breath he takes, every step he takes, every person who's there with him is there because it's supposed to.
The 98-year-old Carter decided earlier this month to spend his final days at his home, surrounded by family and friends, instead of undergoing further medical interventions.
Fox Corporation Chairman Rupert Murdoch is acknowledging that some Fox News hosts endorse what he calls false claims. The 2020 election was stolen. Brian Shook with more.
His remarks from a legal deposition last month were made public on Monday. He admitted that in hindsight, he would have liked the network to be stronger in denouncing them. Murdoch also called some of former President Trump's claims damaging. The lawsuit was brought on by voting machine maker Dominion Voting Systems. The company first sued Fox News in 2021, seeking $1.6 billion for what it alleged were lies that damaged its once thriving business.
Stock futures are inching higher as Wall Street braces for the final trading day of February. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class, let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
I guess it's some level of enjoyment. I guess that's one way to look at it. Anyways, currently 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. So let's talk real quick about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the shit list, because I think that that's part of the reason of why we are here. If not, what the heck would we be doing with each other in regards of what's going on? So let's talk about it. 4 astronauts on board the International Space Station will have to wait until later this week to return home after the NASA scrubbed the launch. Yes, scrubbed the launch scrubbed the launch to its Crew Dragon capsule late Sunday night. Officials say that the problem had to do with the fuel sensor malfunction, that it was impossible to verify whether the rocket tank was full or not. NASA will try again on Thursday at the earliest, according to what the news reports are saying. Fuel sensors issues plagued its first launch on the Crew Dragon capsule last summer, if you remember correctly. So there you go. Also, a high-end grocery store, Trader Joe's, says that it will not install self-checkout machines like many of its competitors. The company's VP of marketing said that the Inside Trader Joe's podcast, there's a podcast for Trader Joe's, I didn't even know that. The company staff are part of the reason of the store's most valuable resources. She also emphasizes the company will continue to invest in employees to maintain great customer service rather than find other automation techniques that might improve profit margins. So what do you think about that? A lot of people love and hate the self-checkout thing. I don't get it. I mean, I look at it kind of as a mix. It just really depends on what the hell you have going on. If you're with if you're with your children and you don't want it to take too long, you probably want to go through a normal checkout. If you're going to try to do it yourself and there's a ton of people with you, probably not the best solution to the case. Just throwing that out there, just kind of the way that it goes. Anyways, if you're bummed out and need a boost, the best thing that you can do is get up and exercise. The Australian study suggests that working out is 1.5 times more effective than curbing depression by therapy and medication. What? Really? Even better. The more intense the exercise, the better the mood, at least in the short term, the better you feel. Oh, there's so many cardio exercises that come to mind right away.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Anyway, since the summer of 2020, the number of corporate hires focused on diversity, equity. Did I say equity? I meant, yeah, no, I did mean equity and inclusion, or DEI, has jumped 55%. Now, amid the recession layoffs, those jobs are 11 points more likely to be the first to go. So there you go. A lot of stuff to think about there. NBC News reports that the DEI hires account for about 33% of layoffs in major companies, compared to 21% that ranked in file corporate positions. So what do you think about it? A lot of stuff going on there as we take a look around and around and around for sure. Anyways, 5 Texas men have been busted for running cocaine smuggling ring using UPS to ship their product, and 2 men were UPS employees. The intrigue is that making of the movie, one was a supplier, one created a fake tracking labels, and one housed the boxes, and 2 of the guys drove the goods around in their distribution trucks. Authorities eventually seized 60 kilograms of blow. No word yet on how much they managed to move before they were busted. UPS says UPS says they're aware of the situation but aren't commenting on the case because it is ongoing. This really makes you think about some stuff and some things to think about.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
So there you go. There you go for sure. Another pitfall. So let's talk about it real quick. It is Tuesday. Let's talk about the music charts. Because, of course, we're going to talk about the music charts on a Tuesday. So coming in at number 5, according to Apple Music, is Zob with Snooze. At number 4 is Karol G and Shakira with TGQ. At number 3 is Zob with Kill Bill. At number 2 is Pink Panthers and Ice Spice with Boys Are Liars Part 2. And at the number 1 spot is Morgan Wallen with Last Night. Okay, going into the Spotify section, and if we go 5 to 1, 1 to 5, coming in at number 5 is Rye with 0700 with Shake Escapism. Wow, I can't even follow along. 4 coming in at number 4 is Zob with Kill Bill. At number 3 is Pink Panthers and Ice Spice with Boys Are Liars Part 2. And number 2 is Miley Cyrus with Flowers. And at the number 1 spot, according to Spotify, is The Weeknd and Ariana Grande with Die For You, the remix version. So there you go. Little remixer if you're looking at that kind of stuff. Anyways, with that being said, it is time to bring in some John Smalls. Let him tell you real quick about what the hell is going on inside of the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, February 28th, 2023. Equity markets started the week strong, but gains quickly faded under rising inflation, interest rate expectations, and a dwindling outlook for earnings. The latest news from FactSet is that estimates for all quarters of 2023 are trending lower, and the first half will see growth decline by more than 4%. In this light, it's incredible the S&P 500 has been able to rebound as it has. This week brings reports from retailers including Target, Lowe's, and Kroger. So far, the takeaway is that volume sales continue to fade while inflation makes up the difference. Regarding the S&P 500, Monday's candle confirms resistance at the short-term EMA and has the index set up for a more significant decline. The target now is 3,900 with a chance of moving below that level to 3,800. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Small, for the information right there, because we need the data of what the hell's going on inside of El Marcoto. Yes, the market. That would be the market. Don't use that word as Marcoto because it doesn't mean market. So just in case. So let's talk about it real quick. Let's talk about what I was able to find on my side. The Dow increased about 72 points to close at 32,889. On Monday, the S&P added about 12 points to close at 3,982. And NASDAQ added about 72 points to close at 11,466. West Texas Intermediate closed at $75 a barrel, and Brent crude closed at $82 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas on Monday was $3.36. Bitcoin slid on Monday down to, well, they slid by 0.6 is what it looked like, trading just under 23,400. There was more than 3,555 flights delayed within, into, and out of the U.S. on Monday, and about 529 such cancellations. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for a $145 million jackpot or a $74.3 million cash payout. So if you are interested in playing the game, you still have the chance to do so because, hey, there is still time in the day. So just some stuff going on right there as we are talking. Hold on real quick. Did I just say that right? Yeah, that is correct because I keep on going, hold on. Yeah, tonight. And I was like, did I say Monday? Because I was like, now I'm in the past again. So what the hell's going on? Anyways, let's talk about some other things going on. A dual U.S.-Israel citizen is dead and killed in the West Bank amid violence between the Palestine and Israel's. Israelites. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said that Monday that the United States is extremely concerned by the recent events in the region.
We condemn the horrific killing of 2 Israeli brothers near Nablus and the killing today of an Israeli near Jericho, who we understand was also an American citizen.
The 27-year-old Connecticut man was killed near Jericho when Palestine gunmen opened fire. Hundreds of Israeli soldiers have been deployed in the area amid the tamp down of escalating violence. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. Talking about some other things that are going on real quick. Those running for Chicago mayor are making the last minute push for votes. Incumbent Mayor Lori Lightfoot believes that she is the only candidate who can beat the projected frontrunner Paul Vages in the runoff.
Not only do I deserve 4 more years as the city's mayor to continue the work that we have started, but also emphasizing the people that I am the only candidate that can beat Paul Vallis.
Okay, the 9 candidates were out about yesterday to convince the undecided voters to cast their ballots for them. Polls are showing that Vallis, Lightfoot, Jesus Chewy Garcia, Brandon Johnson, Willie Wilson, and are all in striking distance of the 2 posts. So let me ask that question. When you hear a candidate say what she just said right there, and let's back that up. Let's do that again.
Not only do I deserve 4 more years.
Deserve. Like, at what point does a candidate deserve to be in office one more time? Like, I'm confused by that one, because that's kind of an interesting one. Because here's the thing, and maybe I don't understand politics the way that they're supposed to be, but I thought the politician is supposed to be a resemblance, a representation of the people. And I think that sometimes we tend to forget that. And we get this construed thing where we tend to believe that they're doing us a favor when they're supposed to be representing what we want. Or maybe I'm just thinking about things crazily. Who knows?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, keeping it in Illinois real quick. Officials are pushing on the new legislation that would benefit families of the fallen first responders. State Controller Suzanne Mendoza says the measure would honor first responders and armed service members.
Let us honor fallen first responders and armed service members by limiting the suffering of the families that they leave behind.
The bill would make it the first funding of benefit of families of first responders and members of the armed forces who does not run out. Currently, money of these benefits can run out before the end of the fiscal year. I mean, think about that. That's something. Anyways, take a listen to this. A bill to crack down on auto theft is making its way through Colorado Senate. Denver area woman Richie Lee Holtz says that she had 4 attempts to get her car stolen and is actually taking on the last try. And it will be, and that's why she's supporting the new bill that would make it virtually that all car thefts in Colorado a felony, regardless of the vehicle value.
I unfortunately ended up having my car completely stolen. Then I just thought, how am I going to get to work? How am I going to get everywhere that I need to pay the bills?
The bill passed the first committee hearing on Monday by bipartisan support. This including mayors from across the state as well as law enforcement. Others, like the Colorado Criminal Defense Bar, spoke against the bill, saying that it won't solve and reduce vehicle theft and that the state shouldn't prosecute more harshly for the property crime. But the bill does have an important add-on to it. It creates a new misdemeanor offense for those who take the car without the owner's permission, but return it within 24 hours without any damage and don't use it to commit a crime. What? What the hell? Okay. Senator Rachel Zelzinger explains that the exact add-on for the potential of auto theft bill. Take a listen.
Creates a misdemeanor classification for limited circumstances, like when a teenager goes joyriding in grandma's car.
Okay, so interesting. As long as you're not actually causing any kind of theft or crime, it's okay. As long as you bring it back within 24 hours. Okay. Brother Jeff Fard, founder of the executive director of Brother Jeff Cultural Center, agrees that the teens facing misdemeanor versus a felony can make a serious difference between the trajectories of their lives. But he's worried about the disappropriation impacts that this bill can have in the communities of color.
Who is that going to benefit? Someone who can afford legal representation that can make the case that my child is not a criminal.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of questions with that bill. I mean, let's just be realistic. I don't know. It's getting kind of interesting when you start thinking about it. Take a listen to this one. This customers who were without power for 96 hours coming out of Detroit over the past week because of the Wednesday ice storms are being offered a $35 credit from DTE Energy. The utility has about 48,000 still without power from because of the storm. Ryan Stowe has some info.
We're dealing with a significant ice storm, the largest ice storm in our company's history, and the second largest in over 120 years.
Okay, customers have lost their patience and are demanding more action to better protect them from lengthy outages. DTE says that they have spent billions of dollars as far as to improve their infrastructure. Pam Foster from the Dearborn Heights is among the DTE Energy customers that are upset about the power outages.
They should be ashamed of themselves. There's no excuse for this.
I mean, okay, so yeah, I mean, here's what happens when you have these systems that don't work. What's the backup? What's the plan? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So, I'll take a listen to this one. This one's kind of an interesting one. McDonald's today launches the Krispy Kreme donut in Kentucky locations. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. McDonald's is selling Krispy Kreme donuts in Kentucky locations starting in March. Trey Thomas has more.
For a limited time, the fast food giant's 150 locations will sell Krispy Kreme's glazed, chocolate cream-filled, and chocolate iced with sprinkles donuts all day. McDonald's first tested the sweet treats in October, but this larger run will look at customer demand and how a bigger launch will affect restaurant operations. I'm Trey Thomas.
So what do you think about this? Now you can go to McDonald's and Krispy Kreme combined into one. Oh, this sounds dangerous all across the board when you start thinking about it. But what do I know?
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so it does look like it's 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and do that thing that we do around this time.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, I guess we can call it main story time as we are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday and getting to do all the fun stuff that we get to do around here and talk about. So listen, I have to tell you, I am so confused still in regards of the things that happen in our industry. And I think that I almost start off every conversation in our main story saying, I don't understand this, I don't understand that, and so on. And at the end of the day, what is the goal of what we do with our safety programs? Because I think that this has become more and more confusing as we go across. I don't think that we understand, I mean, not all of us, but some of us don't understand what exactly people are trying to accomplish. I would imagine that at some point in your career, at some point in my career, we thought that it was a slogan festival, meaning that how many more things can we put out that have some cutesy, artsy, fartsy thing that says, oh yes, safety first. Let's make it all wonderful. But that really wasn't safety. It wasn't a slogan. It wasn't a wall poster. It wasn't some hanging thing, back up in your bus and hit someone and you're done. I mean, there were so many weird things. And then we went through that whole thing for a period of time of the scarcity stuff, which I still see online people trying to do, where look at this accident and now you should be afraid to never do this again. And there's so many odd things on what we are trying to accomplish. And as I take a look around at our industry, and listen, each part of our industry is different depending on what you do. I think we still have a common goal, but our industry per se is different depending on how you want to take a look at it. Because look, you might be in the transportation industry. You might be in the construction industry. you might be in the electrical industry. Now, tell me what all three things have in common. It mostly surrounds itself that it interacts with people. It interacts with the people that are putting themselves at risk by trying to accomplish a job. So those are the things. But outside of that, there's not really much that you could say that is a common bond. So with that being said and being kept in mind, when you take a look around, why do we continue to see places that are trying to incorporate everything as an all-in-one? Conceptually, you can have some concepts that work, but I don't think you can take one thing and say that it applies to all. I mean, yes, I understand that there are things that are out there that are, say, one size fits all. It should say one size fits most, but most of the times you still have to tailor it a little bit. So, what are you trying to accomplish today with the safety program that you have, the safety culture that you have? And listen, those are all jargon words because it really should be about the culture of your organization overall, not about something in particular. So as I look at this and I go, how does the blend work? What should be happening? And if I could give you a concept that I could put into a broadcast, a podcast, however you want to look at it, it's really the communication factor of talking with your workers, of talking to your team members that are at the front line. It becomes so difficult at times that we tend to forget that the people that are doing the work have the best understanding of what's going on inside of your system. Yes, we tend to believe that these people that are suited up, that sit in some corporate office, will have the best knowledge of what needs to happen. And those might be the bean counters, the money makers, whatever you want to call them. But at the end of the day, the people that are actually working the system understand it better than anyone else inside of the organization. So opposed to sitting around and trying to make all these weird concepts, why are we not having the conversations with them? Why are we not talking with them about where we have the issues and what needs to be fixed? I will tell you, I still look back at some of the organizations that I was able to interact with and looking and going, wow, the people that were actually doing the work, and I mean like really doing the work. I'm not talking about the work. I'm talking about doing the work, really could tell you where the next issue was going to occur. But did you actually take a listen? Did you go, hey, they're right and we're potentially wrong? Most of the times people have a hard time with that. So what do you think? Are you willing to take a risk and listen to what your people, what your team members have to say?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobile.io. That's mobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now? That live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Warning, listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking the truth.
Radio.
Everybody's got something to say. But I can see the light in every ounce of you. I can see the light in everything we do. I can see the light in every open door. I can see the light waiting for more. Lights are blinking, a slip between a sink and a phoenix tangled up in blue. Creeping in your back door, knocking on your window. Hopefully my love shines through. Everybody's got
Okay, there you go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. Our numero uno of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. Yep, a lot of good stuff going on. Let's see. This is John Rush with I Can See the Light. Yep, they can see the light. So there you go. Thanks to John Rush for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. And YouTube Music, just in case. And I should say Apple Music. I need to stop saying iTunes, but it's available on there too. So let's get into it. Let's get into the move and the groove of the things that are going on inside of this world of ours. And yes, that's the fun part. We get to talk a little bit about everything. And if anything, I would tell you that this right here that I'm about to tell you is the most important thing that I'm ever going to tell you in my lifetime. And there is not a joke. There is not a doubt about that. So let me share with you what is going on. And that is me telling you about my friends at 988 Suicides and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Or you can call 988, or text the word TALK to 988. Listen, we all need a little help from time to time. I get it. I understand it. And there should be no shame in this game. We all need someone to talk to. And the people at the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline are there for you. If you don't have anywhere else to go, that would be the place to go to. It could be your first, it could be your first place to go. It could be your last place to go, depending on how you want to take a look at it. Just want you to know that there are people there that care. They're there to help. And they can do anything in regards to being able to help you in regards of what you're going through. You could be struggling with all kinds of stuff. You go to their website, 988lifeline.org. You can see everything that's listed on there. They can even help you with some local resources as needed, depending on what's going on. 988lifeline.org. Before you do anything, make sure that you actually go to that website. Anyways, in all kinds of stuff that we talk about, I want you to take a listen to this because I just think that things are getting a little bit out of whack. You can pay for a monthly subscription for streaming services, pet food, and even diapers, so why not restaurants? Many large chains like Panera and P.F. Chang and even local neighborhood diners are experimenting with the subscription model as a way to ensure steady business. Some are offering unlimited drinks or free delivery for monthly fees, while others promise free appetizers with every visit. And why not? Stats show that the average American consumer already pays about $6.7 or pays for 6.7 subscriptions, up from 4.2 in 2019. And others of the new better known restaurant subscriptions already offered by Taco Bell's, whose $10 Taco Lover Pass lets subscribers get a taco every day of the month. It has introduced in January in 2022. Again, in October, a chain currently is looking for ways to make it more valuable for consumers, such as offering faster services or access to a unique menu items. Oh, I can assure you that there's nothing faster than Taco Bell. I mean, just think about that. And what businesses should take that idea of a subscription to make it their own? I mean, there's so many things to think about. And if this was an option for you, would you turn around and go, yes, I am open to the idea of having a subscription service for a restaurant? I mean, it's a lot of weird stuff coming about. I mean, it's just realistically what's going on. So take a listen to this. I love this. And an IT company in India has come up with an unusual way to ensure that employees maintain a healthy work-life balance. It has created a software that reminds them when their shift is up and it's time to head home. SoftGrid computer software features a notification system that kicks in the moment an employee shift is over, warning them that their office system will shut down in 10 minutes and telling them to please go home. This comes more as research focuses on adverse effects of long working hours in the health and relationships of workers. One study shows that 55 or more hours a week can lead to 35% higher risk of stroke and a 17% higher risk of dying of heart disease. Just think of the fun the office pranksters could have with this. And then, think about this. We all can have that too, but there's no software. It's called a clock. So there you go. Some stuff going on out there as we are talking. What do you think about that? How would you love to have software that tells you it's time to go bye-bye when it's all said and done? Would you be excited about that? Or would that be something that you wouldn't care too much about? Just something to think about for sure as we are talking. What else do we have going on across here in El Nuzo? Because we want to give you whatever's going on with the latest. Take a listen to this real quick. Hundreds of thousands of students in New York public colleges and universities could see tuition hikes next school year. Andrew Whitman reports.
The issue was a focus at a hearing in Albany Monday. As proposed in Governor Kathy Hochul's budget, tuition at the state's SUNY and CUNY schools could go up 3% or an increase indexed to the inflation rate. Tuition could go up 6% at the state's top schools in Buffalo, Stony Brook, Binghamton, and Albany. SUNY Chancellor John King noted that in-state tuition at the schools is lower than in all but 7 states. Tuition has held steady at SUNY schools since the 2019-2020 school year. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
Oh, so what do you think about that? Are you going to like that information on what's going on there? That's going to be a fun one. Anyways, the American Civil Liberties Union is asking Congress not to ban TikTok, arguing that it would violate free speech rights of Americans. Mark Mayfield has more. Matter of fact, it looks like Mark Mayfield doesn't have more. Maybe I'm just making this whole thing up. Okay, so I love when something comes up and then it doesn't play, but that's what's going on right there. So yeah, that's going on. So they don't want to ban TikTok. I guess that's a good thing for some. Maybe not a good thing for others, depending on how you want to take a look at it. I'm amazed. Of course, I love when we're on the radio and then there's computer issues. Because when there's computer issues, that means it's not going to play. Yep, that's exactly what's going on. So I cannot tell you that story because the story is no longer there. What a pickle. What a pickle. How about if I tell you this one? Let's do this one for now, and we'll see if we can get the other one to, gozy. Matter of fact, now it decided to show up. Hold on.
A House committee is set to take up a ban on the Chinese-owned video app today because of concerns that user info could be handed over to the Chinese government. Several state governments have already banned the app on state devices, and the White House has given federal agencies a month to remove it from their devices. The ACLU argues that Americans have a right to use TikTok to exchange thoughts and ideas with people around the world. Any ban would have to pass both the House and Senate. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Wasn't this thing attempted to be banned like a while ago too, by the way, or am I making this up? I don't think I'm making it up. That did happen under Trump, if I remember correctly. Anyways, take a listen to this. Tesla and CEO Elon Musk are being sued by shareholders who say they overhyped the effectiveness and safety of electric automaker self-driving tech. Take a listen to this one.
The proposed class action suit filed in federal court in San Francisco Monday accuses Tesla of defrauding the shareholders with false and misleading statements about the technology that is potentially linked with several fatal crashes. The plaintiffs say it's driven the stock price down, leading to significant losses. I'm Mark Mayfield.
If you're rocking with us while working from home, we have one thing to say to you. Nice work, PJ.
So as you can see, we hit our targeted third quarter numbers as well.
Bill.
What?
Really love your Iron Man onesie.
Thank you.
Rocking your workday, whatever it looks like.
Yeah, there you go. You know you had to like that one. That's a good one. So anyways, I think it's time to bring in some John Smalls once again and let him tell you about what is going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Karen. Richard Bliss Brooks said, "Remember, you are building an asset that will last a lifetime, perhaps many lifetimes. It's worth it. If you're doing things right, your life should impact the next generation in a positive way. If you're doing things really well, you may impact many generations to come. What things could you do to make a positive difference for your grandchildren's grandchildren? Now, it doesn't have to be anything financial. Some of the best lessons passed down from generation to generation are priceless, but they have absolutely no financial value. Keep that in mind as you plan to make life better for family members you'll never even meet. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. You might have heard about creatine supplements and their assistance in active lifestyle. A new study has found that creatine supplementation may enhance resistance training adaptations. Resistance exercise and creatine supplementation improved lower and upper body strength and increased fat-free mass, muscular endurance, and bone mineral density. Creatine supplementation also has interesting effects on the brain and can increase brain creatine levels as much as 10%. Some studies have shown the potential of creatine supplementation as a way to improve cognitive function in young and elderly adults and vegetarians. The best dietary sources of creatine include meat, poultry, and fish. Creatine monohydrate appears to be the best form of supplementation. For more information, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
So there you go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out and do the things that we do on that side of the equation. That's entirely up to you, of course. If not, you can stay on Safety FM where good old Sheldon Primus will be coming in and doing the Safety Consultant Show and doing all the fun stuff that he does on this side of the equation. Yes, the equation. Let's talk real quick. Let's see what other news stories we could get to you before we get out of here, because there's always a few that are skedaddling around there. Let me take a look real quick. Anything that that we could talk about real quick. Let's talk about this, because this probably has an impact on most of our lives. A 0-calorie sweetener can increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and death. Take a listen to this.
That's according to a new study published in the scientific journal Nature. The study zeroes in on erythritol, which is used as a sugar substitute in many low-calorie, low-carbohydrate, and keto products. It's also found in the sweetener Truvia. I'm Trey Thomas.
So now people are going to have questions when they're taking a look around and going, oh, I think that this is a good idea to have this today. And then it's going to be like, well, maybe it's not a good idea. I mean, who knows? There's so many things that are good, bad, and indifferent for you, depending on how you take a looker on what is going on. What do you think? What do you think? Will you continue to use the 0-calorie fixers? Because that's what it is. It's kind of a fixer when it's all said and done. Anyways, let's take a look around real quick on some things that happened back on this date, because I think that that's going to be important for our portion of the conversation. Back in 2021, Chadwick Boseman posthumously wins the Best Actor for the 78th Golden Globes. The award was for his role in the movie Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Yep, that's what it was. So a lot of stuff going on right there. So what do you think? I mean, I'm still amazed that he's gone, but I guess I'm kind of in shock, but that's just kind of the way that the world goes. It's one of those things that I sometimes wish that we would honor people while they're still alive. And I know that he kind of had an untimely passing, but it's just one of those weird ones still that I think about all the time. Let's talk about roughly about some of the birthdays that are going on today. Taking a look around, Jason Alden turns 46. Tamitha Smith turns 52. Pat Monahan, 54. Kelly Bishop, 79. And Mario Andretti turns 83 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays that are circulating as we go around. If you're looking at some days of the years to celebrate today, it's National Public Sleeping Day, National Tooth Fairy Day, National Chocolate Sulfur Day, Global Source Day, National Floral Design Day, and Rare Disease Day. Yeah, all days that you can celebrate today if you wanted to. If you need a random joke for today, you can try this one. I think my wife's really mad at me. She barely touched my fries at dinner. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What is your significant other's weird eating habit? Besides eating your food, I guess, would be the thing. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Question: 68% of pet owners have done this for their pets. What is it? Sign their name on a greeting card. Okay, I think that we've actually passed the world of strange once we've gotten to that portion. Anyways, like I said, top of the hour, going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come out and hang out. Also, tickets are still available. I think today's the last day for early bird special for the Safety Worlds Collide taking place in Phoenix, Arizona, May the 9th and the 10th. If you want to come out and hang out, you go to safetyfm.io to find out more information. So there you go. So that's what's going on. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we could not do what we do around here. That is for sure. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Start where you are and use what you have. Do what you can. Think about those things, because they'll get you a lot further than what you think. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.